Would you like to learn how to have more than just a website, but actually have your website turn into a lead generation machine that automatically starts to convert those interested in your Pickleball services into being a paid client? If so, this video is for you because I'm going to be covering these three elements here, okay? Number one, which is grabbing attention, being bold and standing out. I'm going to share with you a couple of examples today to give you ideas so that you can get that clarity. Then we're going to be talking about interest, using copy, persuasive copy that actually triggers certain things within individuals so that they want to take action and work with you. Okay, and then we're going to be moving on to the most important element, because what happens is when people visit your website, some people, yes, will reach out to you straight away because of that high desire. They're really excited and they're like, they want somebody now. We all know people like that. I'm one of them. But the majority of people, they actually need time. Maybe they're in the research stage. Maybe something else is happening and we want to build a relationship and stay in contact with them so that when they are ready, you are front of mind. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today as we move over here to the Picklepreneurs website. I'm going to start here because this is what I built recently. Now you may notice iterations of this over time, but this is the current site. Okay, so what you can see here is the hero image plus a couple of other very important elements. You've got a strong brand, okay? You've got colors which are consistent throughout socials, okay? And the site itself. So a lot of the time, if we're not aware of this, we can slap stuff together and it just doesn't work. It's like having a jigsaw that is like, it's all wrong and it just doesn't look right. So we have to be self-aware enough to know, this is my lane, and if it's not my lane, I need to get assistance and help, and that's a good part of you watching this video, right? So then as we move down, there's a couple of important elements. Now, this is where I start to add value, because a lot of websites, what they do is they are just there to take, right? Here's my pricing, here's how you can hire me, but we're not thinking about long-term. Because if you want to build an audience, you want to start to build trust and actually share that you're an expert in what you do. All right. So here you can see that I'm sharing a YouTube video with some content. Then as you go down, I'm segmenting my different audiences. So you may have some multiple niches. You may work with beginners. You also may work with different audiences. So know your lanes, and then you can actually segment out to those different lanes. Then you can see here I've got a form for a success network, but this is what I want to talk about mainly here below, which is the piece around generating leads using something that you give away of value. So here you can see Simon Simple. So I'm using a play on the word Simon, the name Simon with Simple Simon, right? Simon Simple, 8-step pickleball marketing checklist. Since Simon is simple, he made this really easy to follow. And what I'm doing here is I'm basically saying, hey, listen, I'm simple and I've put it together and I'm making it easy for you. And that's what people want. So as a coach, as an example, you may be a club watching this, but there are different elements. You could have a couple of options. You could give away a free session. You could give away a newsletter that has a bunch of things that people are going to be interested in. Or you could put together, as an example, a checklist that a beginner goes through. Because if you mainly work with beginners, there are lots of things that beginners do in their research stage that you can take that away from them, because then you could just give them a 1 or 2 pager that does all of that work. And when internally someone says, this person saved me time and they added value to me because they saved me some money and they saved me some time, you start to be trusted and you start to be front of mind as they're thinking about, who do I use for my pickleball journey? Okay, so I want to go back to the keynote here and share with you again these 3 different elements. Okay, attention, be bold, stand out. Now also what I want to share here is, don't be afraid of adding your personality. Don't be afraid of going getting a photo shoot. Yes, you can use AI if you're interested in learning that. Post into the comments. But don't be afraid to show your personality. Don't be afraid to get on camera, okay? Then with copy, you can also use AI. For example, if you're bad at spelling, if you want different creative ideas, you can use ChatGPT or Bard, Google's AI, which is really good also. And then what I want you to do is think about and write down 5 different free things that you could give away that might be good for your specific niche. Now, I'm going to go back here to another site that I put together to give you some other ideas. All right, so if we go back here, I'm going to swap over. And here, you can see I've put together this kind of dummy site for Pickle Fitness San Diego. So I've picked a niche, right, to give you an example. So here you can see free pickleball lesson. Now I've used the same branding because I feel it's good to stand out with bright colors. Okay, free pickleball lesson. If you click on that, it goes to a calendar that's already built into a platform. Okay, and I'll talk about a little bit about that at the end of the video. But as you scroll down here, you can see free pickleball lesson. You click on that, it goes straight to the calendar where they can book in for a session. But if people don't want that straight away, I've got a testimonial here from a client. Then I've got a set of details of the 6 weeks. I've called it Smash Fit is the brand. Okay. And then, yes, here I start to share details, but notice the branding consistency, right? Private, semi-private nutrition. And then also here, and this is what I've used here for the opt-in, which is the newsletter, talking about workouts, recovery, meditation, different things. Now, these are interesting to me, right? You have to do that for yourself. When you click here, then that's when you can start to build the relationship, start to generate the email. But as I mentioned, you could put together a checklist, you could put together a newsletter, you could do any number of different things to build that relationship. But this part, as I mentioned earlier, is very important because what's happening is you are building that relationship so that someone who isn't ready, but they're ready a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a month from now, because you've communicated with them, because what you do is you set up a sequence, then they're like, oh, I remember he added value. Oh, I remember he sent me that tip on that new paddle. Oh, I remember he sent me that testimonial from a client. There's been repetition versus gone to your website, seen some prices, left, and they're gone and they're not going to come back, or they might come back. Now, I want to talk here about a common mistake that a lot of people make when it comes to putting together a website, which is, okay, I certified or I got my, decided to open my location and then I need to put a website together. So what happens is I go for a free website builder, and the mistake here is that yes, that's a builder, but it doesn't incorporate all of the marketing machinery that takes into account, for example, what you saw, the calendar, getting the email, being able to email those people out, the adding video, for example, and hosting certain videos. So the way that things used to be was that a lot of people use those platforms, but nowadays people are realizing that there's so many added costs through all these different platforms that there are really good platforms that have everything built in. So what I've done, and I'll put a link in the description to the platform that I use, but I've actually built a framework already for pickleball coaches where I just copy the files across. They can be customized with coaching, okay? And then you can have a site up relatively quickly, not needing to worry about the branding, not needing to worry about the copy, just tweaking it for you. And it's a much quicker and optimized process. So what I wanted to do is in this video was give you some of the fundamentals so that you can be aware of what your site needs and help you understand that there's actually an easier process. Now, if you're interested in that, you go to picklepreneurs.com, apply for the free strategy session, and I'll find out exactly where you are and tell you what you need and go through all of that. But post into the comments what specific areas of you building your website, your brand, your lead generation would you like to learn more on, because I'd love to do more videos for you. You're interested in the AI, the copy, what areas, because you might be brand new right now, or you might have your site partly done, but there's other pieces missing. And I want to make sure that I support you. Hit that subscribe button if you aren't subscribed already, and I will see you in another video for Picklepreneurs. Take care.